Next on ABC 7's Good Morning El Paso weekend, a blaze in the lower valley destroys a mobile home, killing at least one. Well, fire officials are saying this morning. Our newsroom staying on top of the breaking news out of the northwest after a shooting at a mall leaves several dead. And protesters taking to the streets for the fourth straight night in a row as video of the latest controversial police shooting is being released by the family. And Storm Track weather, Stephen.
A first alert is in effect. Some much cooler weather is on the way and rain chances are returning. I'll have all those details coming up.
With all the news you need to start your Saturday, September 24th, ABC 7's Good Morning El Paso weekend starts right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC 7's Good Morning El Paso weekend.
Well, good morning, El Paso, and thank you for joining us. I'm Andrew J. Polk. Start with breaking news out of El Paso this morning. El Paso police investigating a stabbing in central El Paso. At this time, crimes against persons detectives are on the scene between between San Antonio and San Francisco streets, where police say one person was stabbed to death. This is video new into our newsroom this morning and shows red and yellow crime scene tape tied along utility poles for several blocks. This time we do not know the name of the victim or if any arrests have been made. This area is normally reserved for the farmers market that should be happening this morning. That event has been canceled for today. And some more breaking news this morning. El Paso police and crimes against person are also on the scene of a deadly crash in far east El Paso. Right now, Loop 375 is closed between Pebble Hills and Montana. Police have not yet said how many people were injured or how many cars were involved in the crash. We have a crew on the scene right now gathering more information, but we'll update you as soon as it becomes available. Again, Loop 375 closed both north and south as this investigation continues. So getting to our storm track weather now, our weather team issuing a first alert saying the borderland will see some cooler temperatures this weekend. We have storm track meteorologist Stephen Decatur with the details on if any storms could be headed our way. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Andrew. That first alert is in effect for cooler weather on the way, and we're already starting off cooler this morning. The first cold front has already moved through, starting temperatures about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than this time yesterday, but our next cold front moves through on the day on Sunday, and that is going to bring us some much cooler air as we head into Sunday and especially on Monday. Today is going to be a pretty gorgeous day. Yesterday we were in the 90s. Today lower to middle 80s. And again, it's going to be a little bit gusty as we head into the afternoon, gusts to 25 miles an hour. But overall, it's going to be a very pleasant day. Now things do begin to change on Sunday. It's going to be getting windy, very windy. Wind gusts over 45 miles an hour and some much cooler temperatures, even cooler for Monday. And then we add in that rain, especially for the day on Monday with overcast conditions, very windy. It's going to be the coolest we've seen since April 1st. So some much cooler weather is on the way. I have all those details coming up. Andrew?
All right, thanks, Stephen. Check back in just a bit. In the meantime, I want to check on other news from last night. A mobile home fire in El Paso's lower valley has now turned deadly. Officials saying the fire started around 6:30 yesterday evening on the 400 block of Landgren near Socorro. 5 people were inside the mobile home when it caught fire, including 4 children. This is video sent to our ABC 7 for one of our viewers showing that mobile home fully engulfed in flames. Officials say all of the children were boys between the ages of 2 and 6. Fire officials say that a 3-year-old and a 69-year-old man had life-threatening injuries. The police department is now calling this a deadly fire. However, right now it's unclear who has died. A spokesman from the fire department says the mobile home is a total loss.
100% of the mobile home, yes, is destroyed.
The damage is estimated at $35,000. Police say crimes against persons will be investigating the fire. Again, the police department is calling it now a deadly fire, but neither police officials or fire officials are saying if it was the 3-year-old or the 69-year-old that were previously listed as injured, if they are the ones that have died. We'll soon update you as soon as we get any more information on this situation. In the meantime, police are still searching for the shooter who opened fire in a shopping mall in Washington State, killing at least 5 people. Police say this is the gunman and that he acted alone. The shooting happened last night at the Cascade Mall in Burlington, about an hour north of Seattle. 4 of the people who were shot were women inside a Macy's store, and this morning police say a man who was hospitalized has now died from his injuries. The mall was immediately put on lockdown. It's unclear how many other people were hurt in addition to those shot and killed. Police are asking all residents near the Burlington area to stay indoors until further notice. And ABC 7 is working to find out more information on the toddler who was severely burned by hot water. Happened in San Rosario Thursday evening at a home on the 12,400 block of Cuatro Aces. Still no word on how the 2-year-old boy was burned by water. We did confirm that he was taken to Del Sol Medical Center with second-degree burns. A substitute teacher in Socorro ISD has been removed from the list of available subs at that district. This after a student reached out to administrators to report inappropriate conduct by the substitute. It happened at Waco Elementary in the Socorro School District. A district spokesman tells us the student reported the incident yesterday. The investigation will continue and Socorro Police and Child Protective Services have been notified. The district is not releasing if the teacher was a man or woman, nor any details regarding the student. We're, of course, looking for more information here as well, and we'll update you on air and online at KVIA.com as soon as we find out anything more. And police are still searching for the driver who crashed into a motorcyclist and then fled the scene. Happened just after 2 Friday morning in the 1400 block of George Dieter on the east side. Police say the driver and their passengers got out of the car after the crash, then got back into the car and drove away. The man was taken to Del Sol with serious injuries. Police now saying it's a Honda Accord style car that is gray. If you knew either the car, the driver, or the passengers, you're asked to call special traffic investigators at 212-4080 or Crime Stoppers at 566-8477. And the man convicted of driving drunk and killing a teenage boy in El Paso's Lower Valley learns his punishment. Julian Tapia was speeding up to 100 miles an hour in January of 2014 when he crashed into the Hernandez family's SUV. This is video from that night. 13-year-old Pablo Hernandez was killed. His older sister, Isa Hernandez, was left in a coma for days. Thursday, Tapia, seen here, was sentenced to 13 years in prison for intoxicated manslaughter with a vehicle and intoxicated assault with a vehicle causing serious bodily injury. Pablo's mother and her family is speaking out about the sentencing.
13 years is not enough. You know, we're going to miss out on so much. He didn't even make it to high school. He didn't finish his 8th grade year.
Despite still struggling with the tragic death, the family says it has brought them closer than they've ever been before. Isa Hernandez has since recovered and is now a freshman at UTEP studying psychology. Before Tapia was sentenced, both Patricia and Isa read victim impact statements to Tapia.
And I spoke to him confidently, like just telling him how he had impacted me.
I guess what gave me a little piece was he was remorseful. I saw it in him, but I just miss my son.
The Hernandez family asked us to plead with everyone to not drink and drive. If you know you're going to be drinking, get a designated driver or call an Uber or a taxi. Switching to the race for the president now, and T-2 in about 2.5 days until what promises to be an epic night in American politics. Clinton versus Trump in their first debate. Around 100 million viewers expected to be on watching. But both candidates are preparing this morning in very different ways. ABC's Mary Bruce is the latest.
This morning, 2 very different candidates preparing to face off in 2 very different ways. In one corner, Hillary Clinton, the veteran debater, readying for her most unpredictable opponent yet. Taking the traditional route, she's hunkering down with briefing books, holding mock debates, and looking to get under Trump's skin, starting with the front row.
I'm out.
Her campaign giving a coveted ticket to Trump's nemesis, fellow brash billionaire Mark Cuban.
Let's put it this way, if he came on Shark Tank, I wouldn't make the investment.
This will be Trump's 12th debate, but his first one-on-one. And when it comes to prep, he's wary of overdoing it.
I've seen people prepare so much that they get up there and they get locked to or they can't speak.
Trump is bringing in backup. Former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani leading Friday's strategy session.
Let's have the American people, for once, actually see a person actually be themselves.
So no mock debates, just rapid-fire questioning, a careful review of Clinton's past performances. And now Trump is getting a surprise boost from a former rival.
Lion Ted Cruz. Lion Ted. He holds up the Bible and then he puts it down and he lies.
Just 2 months ago, Ted Cruz refused to endorse Trump at the convention.
Vote your conscience, vote for candidates up and down the ticket who you trust to defend our freedom.
Now an about-face, the Texas senator saying he will vote for Trump. This is a risky gamble for Ted Cruz. After taking a hard personal and principled stance against Trump, Cruz's change of heart is shocking, but maybe politically advantageous. Cruz is facing a possible primary challenge, and the RNC has said Republicans who don't back Trump could be made to pay for it down the road. Mary Bruce, ABC News, Washington.
And stay with ABC7 for your complete coverage of the race to the White House. Our coverage begins an hour before Monday's big debate. We'll have an in-depth look at the presidential race, plus insight on the big local races as well. Our special begins at 6:30 on Monday. Then at 7 o'clock, Hillary Clinton and Trump go face-to-face. It marks the 56th anniversary of the first televised presidential debate between Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy in 1960. The power is back on this morning for thousands of homes in central El Paso. An El Paso Electric spokesman says the widespread power outage was caused by a car wreck. The El Paso Electric outage map showing around 4,000 homes and several businesses were affected by the outage. The spokesman says crews were redirecting power from other sources to ensure everyone got electricity as soon as possible. And it was a big inconvenience for many fans at the Austin High School football game. Take a look. The lights went out, leaving everyone just sitting there in the dark. ABC7's Luke Liddon was also there and got this video for us. The game was moved to nearby Chapin High School. And it's a party for some, but for others it's become a burden. The fair in Juarez lights up the other side of the border until the late hours of the night. The lights aren't a problem here, but some El Pasoans say the sound is. ABC7's Evan Folan spoke with residents, and he has more.
They're just too loud. The volume is just too loud.
X marks the spot for fast rides, slow rides, and sugary food. The fair in Juarez may be fun for those attending, but for others,
it's not necessary to be that loud.
It's become a burden.
If you have a kid that's a light sleeper, it would wake them up.
It's too loud, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, very loud.
We work, we go to school, and we can't. Because if we're asleep already, then we're awakened by the loud music and the loud noise.
Just how loud is the music?
It's like if you lived in an apartment complex and your neighbor had the music on. It's like that.
The music is as loud as if you had it in your own home.
But they aren't trying to stop the fun.
I don't mind having concerts and music at all. It's just that it's just too loud.
I don't care if they hear the music, but I don't mind if they have it. So loud, it's too loud.
They just want the music turned down.
If the noise was taking place here in our own country, in our own city, we would know what to do, but we don't know what to do because it's in another country.
That was ABC7's Evan Folan reporting. We reached out to the fair coordinator to see if there was any restrictions on the noise. However, we were told that they were unaware of any sound limits. But there is good news for the people living so close to the fair. It's not year-round. In fact, the last day is October 8th. And a piece of El Paso made its way along the red carpet at the Emmy Awards last Sunday.
She was wearing these during the whole show.
How great!
After having her pieces worn by television's elite, Susan Eisen's jewelry is back in the Sun City now. Here you can see Eisen's earring being worn by Emmy-nominated actress Olivia Colman. Eisen tells us 8 pieces of hers were worn on the red carpet. This is her 3rd year offering her pieces to the stars. She's happy knowing her hard work is being recognized.
I remember that the first show we did, they asked the star when they did an interview with her, and she said Susan Eisman, and I didn't care. It sounded close to Susan Eisen, so that was okay for me.
Melissa Rivers also wore Eisen's jewelry. She wore them on her hour-long show on E's The Fashion Police. And of course, don't forget to pick up your copy of the El Paso Ink. This week, only in El Paso Ink, big news in a $250 million fraud case that started 9 years ago. The latest on the iOS case, only in El Paso Ink. And why Whole Foods is focusing on local products as it races to open its first El Paso store. Also, it's the well-known incumbent versus a tough-talking challenger in the El Paso County Sheriff's race. They talk crime, cost savings, the 12-hour shifts, and our Q&As. El Paso Ink is online at elpasoink.com and available for home and business delivery. Call the number there at the bottom of your screen, 534-4422, to subscribe. It's the first museum of its kind in our nation's capital. Coming up, a look inside the National Museum of African American History. And it is 8:14 right now. We're going to take another live look at traffic this morning. This is This is where that crash is, near Loop 375. You can see all of the lanes on the right-hand side, traffic being completely diverted around that. It appears some of the left-hand lanes have reopened at this point. And again, we had special traffic investigators and crimes against persons responding to this crash. So we're going to find out the exact details. Stay with ABC7 as we try to find out more. And in storm track weather, Stephen.
A first alert is in effect. Big changes are on the way, and I'll have all those details coming up.
You're watching ABC7, where news comes first.